Barbarella, issue number 1. That's right, folks. A new Barbarella book is here, and you can damn well be sure I'm going to talk about it. Perhaps right next to Moon Knight, my favorite character in all of fiction. I love Barbarella so much. I love every time a new book comes out. I'm a fan of this character. One of the few characters I would say I'd gatekeep. I don't want her to become too popular. That's why I'm hesitant about this Sydney Sweeney movie, if that ever gets made. They've been saying Edgar Wright. God, I hope not. He is the wrong choice. My pick is still Nia DaCosta. I doubt she'll ever go back to sci-fi again. But whatever. New Barbarella book. This is from Blake Northcott, a name I'm not too familiar with. But they have a good handle on this book, and I think she really got what Barbarella's supposed to be. The art and the colors are from Anna Morozova and Magnus Arts, so take that however you want. I'm not too familiar with their work either, but I like what we're getting here. It's a really cool, use of imagery, and the style kind of reminds me of, early stages of Mike Allred. I don't know, it's got that vibe to it. Also, Stefan Sejic, if, you mix the two of them together, that's what I think this book feels like. Two creators I like, so that's kind of fun. This issue opens up and we're watching some raven-haired lady with green sunglasses firing a cannon. Not really going at anything, it's just kind of a thing, something to stop all the pain and suffering, and blah blah blah, welcome to my planet, that's how we fight back. We realize this is a movie that Barbarella is watching. She is in bed with a guy called Maxis, I believe is his name. We find out that he's a robot, and Barbarella's like, why can't we have good dialogue in these movies, you know? I don't get it. Where's some repartee? Where's the Barbarella-isms of a Barbarella book? I love that. She's like, it's so violent. Can't we have some fun or lighthearted misadventures? She's like, that's so weird. Why did they just fly through the sun now? This makes no sense. And Maxis is like, it's all right. You're on a vacation. Stop overthinking what this book is. And she gets on top of him, about to go another round in the bedroom situation. And you're like, okay, kind of exciting. She's like, well, I know you're a machine and, you're programmed to help me in certain ways, but I might as well take advantage of the situation. And suddenly a big clacker comes into frame and someone says, cut. And she's like, what's going on? And this really disgusting guy shows up. He's like, this is weird. What are we doing here? I don't like the way we're framing this scene. The wordplay is terrible. Nothing about this is clever. It's so anti what people want, which is a thing I really like about this book. It's kind of saying we can't tell a straightforward Barbarella story. We got to over-explain this with some Joseph Campbell shit. I really like this. So this guy that shows up, he's a purple horn guy. His name is Spager Cameron. And I guess you could say Spielberg, James Cameron, whatever name you want to figure out. There's also more to his name, Novlip Lucas Floglart, the 8th owner of Planet V. She's on a planet. They've been filming her since she got to this planet. This director's like, you were the star attraction when you landed here. We started filming you for the billions of viewers at home. And now they're disappointed that you're acting this lewd. We want some insane stuff going on. We want violence and mindless chaos. Quit acting like Barbarella. She's like, okay. I think that's enough. So her and Vix go for the door, ready to leave. And that's when the director's like, no, you can't leave. You're too captivating to my audience. Maybe it has something to do with how beautiful you are. I don't know. All I know is the viewership spiked when you landed. So we're going to ditch the romance and we're going to go a different direction with you. So he has a button. He pushes it and it blows up her ship. And she's like, did you just blow up the rental? He's like, yeah, I did. Now you're stuck here. You have to embark on a hero's journey, Barbarella. That's right. Here's a whip. So I guess we're going to do an Indiana Jones thing. And go face some foes or something, Learn about yourself through, trial by fire. And she's like, what are you talking about? I thought this was a vacation plan. He's like, it's not. It's more like a metaphorical planet, we make you do things that are silly and dumb. So, anyways, here's a smash cut and a big boulder drops down. It's about to hit her. And she has to run away from a boulder if the Raiders parody wasn't loud enough than what we're going for. So this director is a dick. Now he's making Barbarella do non-Barbarella things. We then cut to somewhere in deep space where we have Captain Artem. And he's just sitting on a ship. He hasn't slept in 28 hours. He's looking like a mess. And his robot's like, we got a distress call coming from Alpha Prime. We should figure out what that is. So he hits a button, and some more people from the Earth Gov send transmissions. They're like, something's going on this planet. We don't know what it is, but people are fighting each other. They're attacking each other. Getting kind of Star Trek in here, where just like a planet's about to explode. You know, we were doing so well, but then something bad really happened, and then everything goes dark. And Artem's like, I think I know who I have to contact about this. So his robot's like, you're right, let's contact EarthGov. And then he shuts off the robot like, no, we're not going to do that. And he like answers a phone. He's like, we have a big problem on Alpha Prime. Yes, I'm aware. That's why I'm calling you, not HQ. You have to find her, and you have to find her fast. And we think he's going to be talking about Barbarella, but we'll get there in a minute. We cut back to the boulder. It crushes Maxis, so the robot man that she's been boinking dies. And now her and Vix are like running away from a boulder. They swing onto like a branch of a tree outside of like their hotel. They land in the water. They climb out of the water to find like some cute creatures watching them. They're like, oh, look, friendly locals. It'll be nice and easy. Maybe they'll help us out. And then they turn to like vicious monsters. And she's like, right, I forgot we're doing a Raiders parody. And then suddenly like a narrator just like talks over everything, like the daring duo of Barbarella and her trusty sidekicks Vix. And she's like, who's saying that? Who's saying that? They go underwater. They swim down like a waterfall, doing more stuff from a classic adventure movie. They eventually land on like the other side of the waterfall. And the narrator's like, nice. They made it once again. Another humorous quip from the sidekick. Everything's going good. Little does she know that the narrator robot owl named Spirion is perched beside her. And Vix is like, no, we found you. He's like, oh, dang. That sucks. I forgot to activate my cloaking device. And Barbarella's like, what? What's going on? And the owl's like, hey, look, like, this is my job. Like, I have a home here or something, and I pay a mortgage, so the director offers pretty competitive rates. So, like, I'm a narrator now. Could you take this thing off my back, though? It's like a tracking beacon, so they follow me. So Barbarella takes it off. And he's like, awesome, cool. So Spirion is just like an homage to like the woodwork owl from like Clash of the Titans, right? Like that's what we're doing. That type of owl. I love when Barbarella makes friends wherever she goes. It's one of my favorite things to see the character do. Anyway, Spirion's like, I used to be a writer for this show, but then you got like an AI to write things that should have been turning out schlock forever called Scriptotron. And, like, it's just a bunch of bullshit that was, like, airing during the 21st century. It's just churning out stories based on your culture's entertainment. It sucks. And when you're doing it constantly, and you have 200 billion beings watching, all on Planet V, like, you're gonna get some crap. And, like, they want basic stuff. They don't want you to think. And she's like, so they don't like what I'm Barbarella? Like, no, they like looking at you, but they don't like what you stand for. This is an episode called Escape from Planet V. I think it's kind of, like, obvious. I mean, you have to find like an escape pod to get out. Like, that's what this adventure is going to be. So let's go find one for you. Vix is like, that's a little on the nose, but I guess I'll let it slide because that's what we're doing here. Incredibly fun. Like, I love that. As soon as she like breaks the fourth wall a little bit in the meta way of like finding the narrator owl, things just switch up where the owl's like, yeah, you're Barbarella. Like, I get it. Okay, I mean, I hate it here, but I have a house. So I'm on your side, though. Let's get out of here. We then cut to somewhere in the Taiseti system, and we're watching this woman called Jury Choir. She's a special agent. She's taking down some like guy in a bar. Just some big crooked alien. She's dressed a little more like badass and dark than what we see from Barbarella. But she's like, you'll be in a prison cell for a long time. And then somebody named Drykiss shows up. It's like, look, I work with EarthGov. I'm actually here on like behalf of Artem. He said I need to find you for a special mission. Something's going down at Alpha Prime. Bad stuff is going on the way. He said you're the person I should contact about this mission. It's pretty dangerous and we don't know how it's going to go. And Jerry Squire's like, all right. I mean, I think I know what you're trying to get at me here. So I'll do it. But I think there's somebody else you should contact that could handle this mission better than me. And this guy's like, yeah, you mean Barbarella? Well, we can't really get a hold of Barbarella. She's currently on Planet V, and she's scoring like record ratings. And we see there's like 268.7 billion people watching Barbarella do her weird mission. And Jury's like, oh, great. Dang. Nobody escapes Planet V, let alone Barbarella. So that's where the book ends. I'm like, okay, I'm on board for this ride. I'm never like the biggest proponent of like cutting back to other characters in a Barbarella story. I think she should always be the central focus, but you've given me enough with like a special agent who's kind of like not the anti-Barbarella, but on a different level than Barbarella, doing her own thing there. And you have enough EarthGov stuff going on, so I'm not against that. Really fun medtextual story of like people seeing Barbarella on like their TV and being like, hey, that's like Sydney Sweeney looking lady. She's going to have fun, right? And then you're like, oh, she's actually just like kissing and having sex and being like a loving being. That's boring. Why can't she run away from a boulder? That's really fun. That's an incredibly fun story, and I'm very curious to see where this is going to go. For a first issue of a book I didn't know what to expect from, I like where we're going. It feels very different from the past couple iterations of the character, and I'm very excited for the future. Very fun. Like, it's a unique enough story that talks about like our modern times of social media and always being inundated and, you know, technology and stuff. Cool. Very curious. How is this going to go? I think pretty well. I do think pretty well. So, Barbarella, issue number 1, I am going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.